Hey guys, Dr. Jordan Mousley here, Sports Chiropractic of Utah, your health, performance, and wellness specialist of Salt Lake City. We thank you for tuning in again, where we're talking about the Get Your Move On campaign. Last time we talked about the low back and some of the stretches and exercises you can do with the low back. Today, per request, we are going to talk about hips, because hips honestly are probably the second most common thing that we deal with here in the office, and specifically we're going to talk about pain that people experience right here on this side of their hip. So some of the most common presenters are those that come in, they say, you know what, I'm laying down at night, I'm a side sleeper, I cannot lay on my side because it hurts so bad. I toss to the other side and I turn over and it happens again. This is so common, okay? There are a couple different categories of people. There are those that are very physically active that experience this hip pain because they're training for a marathon or a triathlon of some kind, and they overtrain, and then they start to experience breakdown in this part of their hip, causing pain. So there's one category. The second most common category that we see are those that actually sit for long periods of time. They always come in very confused, like, why do I experience this hip pain? I haven't been doing anything. When in reality, that's probably the exact reason why you're experiencing the pain you are. So those are the two categories of people that we usually see with this type of pain. Now, what causes this? What are you experiencing? The pain you're most likely experiencing is what we call bursitis. A bursa inside of your body is just a fluid-filled sac that prevents a lot of friction. It sits in between muscle and bone, so you don't get a lot of rubbing, which causes pain as well. And then other thing you're probably experiencing is a little bit of a breakdown in some of these tendons from the muscles inside of your hip. And when you get that breakdown of tissue of the muscle or tendon, you actually start irritating the bursa in this area too, which causes the bursitis. So a lot of people say, oh, I have bursitis, I have to ice it, rest it, not do anything. Well, that's probably true to a degree to take care of the bursitis, but you have to realize that the problem is most likely coming from a different area of the body, which is most likely in this area. So we'll have to eventually train this area here. So those are the most common signs and symptoms that people experience when they come into us with this hip pain. So what I'm going to suggest is 3 different exercises. They're progressive, so you start with the most basic and you work your way up to the hardest one. Progressive exercises that will help either prevent or alleviate a lot of this problem. So if you know of somebody that is experiencing this type of pain, tag them in this video and let them know that it is possible to get this taken care of. One other caveat is if you experience pain while doing any of these exercises, consult with your chiropractor, physical therapist, or your primary care health member to let them know you're experiencing this so you can get the proper care. If you're here in Salt Lake City or in that area, we'd love to take care of you. We can get some good results most likely. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Watch these 3 exercises. Give them a try and let us know what you think. Alright guys, the first exercise we want to do is actually what's called the glute bridge, and we're really going to be focusing on the bigger muscles, your glute max, a little bit of your hamstrings as well during this exercise. If we focus too much on that outside hip initially and we're pushing through pain, we're not going to get very far. We're not taking some of the pressure off that area. So we're going to start with the first area, which is just the glute bridge. Very simple. All we're going to do is lay on your back, bring your knees up. You don't want your legs out too far or else we're working hamstring. You don't want them too close or else we're just not getting the muscles targeted properly. First thing you want to do is just squeeze those rear end muscles and bring your hips up. So it's a nice straight line from all the way down your femur or your leg through here, all the way through your back. And you're just going to hold. You want to hold that for about 5 seconds, come back down. We're going to go right back up and do the same thing right here. Okay? So that's the simple glute bridge. You want to repeat that probably 5 to 10 times, just like that. Alright guys, the next exercise that we're going to do is a little bit of the same thing, but just a little bit of a variation on the glute bridge. What we're going to do is actually going to kick one leg out. So it's kind of like a single leg glute bridge. And what this does, it kind of forces your body to wobble a little bit, but you're having to engage a lot of those side hip muscles and even your core muscles to keep you up. So this is the second exercise. As soon as you feel like you got the first one down without pain, move on to the second one. So here's the second one. So it's the same thing, same glute bridge. The thing I want you to do now is bring your arms straight up in the air. You're just going to kick one leg out. And try not to let your hips fall. I think I let mine fall a little bit. Kick your legs straight out just like that. Same thing here. Kick your legs straight out. Hold for about 3 seconds. Okay? And then come back down just like that. Repeat that probably another 5 to 10 times as well. Alright guys, the last exercise I want you to try, you're going to need a band, a circular band like this, not too heavy of a resistance, but something very similar to this. What you're going to do is you're going to put it up through here and around your knees, just like that, okay? I want you to get in a nice athletic position. What you're going to do is you're going to side shuffle to the right and then to the left. What this does, it forces your knees in, but by you keeping your knees out, you're having to engage these muscles here. And as you step to the right and you bring your other foot towards you, what we're doing is we're actually contracting it both times when we move our leg out and when we move this leg in. We have to stabilize ourselves. So ideally what you're going to do, you're going to do that movement 10 times to the right, 10 times to the left. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to walk forward and backwards without leaning to the side, and while keeping your knees out, you're going to walk forward and back 10 times as well. So that trains you to run and stabilize, or walk and stabilize these muscles at the same time. Give those exercises a try and let us know how you feel.